show at thenextgenusa.com. I want to apologize for our absence um, last week, but we're back at it again with my three favorite people. I got Mikey from Maryland. I got the Godfather here with the shades, Al, and not Al Capone, Al. And
You
then,
can
of course, I
call
got
me Vito Scarpelli.
call you what?
Al Corleone.
Vito Scarpelli.
And we got Vito Scarfelli here with us tonight. Guys, there's a lot to talk about. Um, I want to start off by talking about the local scene. Um, whether you've heard or not, we had our LA City Council again have somebody else get indicted for embezzlement and perjury.
Councilman Price, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
Councilman Price.
And they call me a criminal. We got more criminals in LA City Hall than we have in the mafia.
You know,
Mr. Scarpelli, we'll get to you in a minute.
The ironic part about his indictment is that the woman he's getting indicted for was his lover. He left his wife for this lady, and she got the extra money from the city. And he got caught cheating and embezzling money. So, and lying about it on top of that. So, and we know there's more coming, right? We know there's more coming. We know Krikorian should be next on the list because he's very, very connected to the underground of LA politics. So I'm going to hope that they get him also. My ultimate goal is that they get Monica Rodriguez because that's my pet peeve. She is my city council person. She is dirty. She doesn't give a crap about her district at all. All she cares about is beautification of the city of Pacoima, her favorite hobby, and not what's really happening in the streets.
You're right.
It's very personal for me because she's my city council person. So, and I don't know how she keeps winning. I just don't get it because people.
Well, I can't. And you know, Tony, I can't understand how one Rodriguez can be so diametrically opposed to another Rodriguez.
Well, because she's a politician and I'm just a dumbass that likes to speak his mind. Big difference.
Oh, you're not a dumbass. You're not a dumbass at all.
But
you know what the saying is? You think stupid.
That's right.
You have integrity, Tony.
Stupid is not. She's a very bright woman. She's really bright. I just think she sold out.
So are light bulbs.
She sold out.
Yeah, light bulbs are bright too.
I don't know about that. I've seen her in person. I don't think so, but okay. It's disheartening that people keep electing these clowns in the office, whether it's city council, whether it's mayor's office, whatever it is, and they keep electing the same old people, right? They don't really want a difference maker. They just want somebody, who looks cute, like Newsom. Let's vote for Newsom. I want to give Governor Newsom credit for San Francisco because he is the reason San Francisco is where it is, right? He was the mayor. He built that city. And look at it now, right? It's a total clusterfuck. But back to the meeting that I attended for LAPD. So we had the deputy chief there. We had the local captain. We had the fire department there because we had a lot of fires in our city, a lot of car burnings in Sunland Tahunga area. We've had 30 since October, 30.
Wow.
The meeting was really about why it took so long for LAPD to respond, right? According to the SLO of our area, which is the officer that's assigned to every district or every location, he was not aware of all these going on, but it was all over Facebook, Instagram. And it took a man that lost his leg to go to Channel 5 for the news media to get involved, and then everybody else got involved. Once everybody else got involved, it took 6 days to apprehend the subject. 6 days. That's fast. That is fast, right? But the point was that it took so long for them to react to this, which is the scary part.
Were these stolen cars or were they all a particular brand?
Nope. He was just
Really?
he was riding on a bike. He had a plastic bottle. He poured fuel on the windshield, going into the wipers, and light it and move on.
The rubber catch on fire, right?
Mm-hmm. And he was doing it in the same area. So it's not like he did it in one street and did it 5 miles away in another street. It was in the same consistent 4 or 5 block area. And there was one lady sitting next to me who was talking about her problem. Both her cars were burned. One on May 1st, one on May 16th.
Wow.
And yet nobody
I can't believe somebody owns 2 cars in California. But to each their own.
Some people do. But if you listen to the stories, we had 8 people that lost their cars, right? And it's pretty sad that they're reporting this, and yet there's no action, whether it's the fire department who has the arson team or LAPD. And it became a finger pointing session during that meeting. LAPD saying we don't handle arsonists until the fire department tells us they're arson. Right? Fire department saying I don't have the manpower to tell LAPD that it's an arson issue. So the meeting was 3 hours long, and that's a back and forth. At the end, the voters were talking about, well, we need more law enforcement, we need more firemen. What can we do to help you guys? And I'm like, okay, stop voting for these dumbasses. Vote for people that are going to make a difference. Hold people accountable, right? Hold your politics. They work for us. I don't understand why people think we can't reach out to them and say, I need you to brief us on what's happening, right? We invited Monica Rodriguez to the meeting, but she didn't show up. She did send her representative, which we appreciate. But that's the problem. There's so much apathy until something happens to you, then it's too late to make a difference.
Well, I think you've always said, Tony, that I think you've always said too that we really don't care about an issue until it affects us personally. And that's one of the things you've always touted is you get to know your neighbors, because you'll find out you have more in common than you have in disagreements. I assure you.
Well, and then we had this clown from Burbank, the mayor was there, pretending he gave a rat's ass of what's going on, just to come claim that he's going to run for county supervisor for our area next election. That was his big speech, right? And then talking about, yeah, we need more money. We need to pay the people more instead of let's fund the police department. Let's fund the fire department. Not worry so much about trying to raise their pays at this point. Let's worry about building them up. 9,000 officers is not enough for LA. It's just not enough. Right. New York has 12,000 police officers. We have 9,000. Right?
New York City had 35,000.
They do?
That's what their manpower was allocated, was 35,000 with NYPD, but they've lost so many, and the whole country is going through this we hate the police thing, and the people are going in there saying, we can't get qualified people. Well, and they're trying, but they jack salaries up and everything else. I mean, if you wanted to work for Supreme Court police, which has probably got a handful of people, they're starting them out at $77,000. Wow. My department was 66, and they're starting them out at 66,000 plus signing bonuses. So, I mean, I left when I was making 85, and that was after 22 years.
LAPD is offering you money to move to LA because they can't recruit.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of money.
they don't. They're just, a lot of things, right? People are apathetic about a lot of things, but I'm a believer that if something happens to them, then they're going to wake up, and I'm afraid it might be too late to do anything about what's going on, right? Whether you're Republican or Democrat has nothing to do with what's happening, right? Nothing.
Well said.
This has everything to do with people, and I'm not saying they don't care. Sometimes they're tired. You can tell you're having a meeting in a city of 75,000 people, and you have maybe 20 people show up they're all older, right?
Right.
They're all older. You're not getting any young people from the neighborhood showing up because they're too busy doing whatever they're doing. But then they're the first ones to complain about speeding on Foothill Boulevard and not enough police officers patrolling Salentahunga, not enough police officers sent up, right? So what do we need to do to get people engaged? Because that's really what we need to do, get them engaged and involved. Kind of like what happened in Glendale, right? This LGBTQ nonsense has been going on for who knows how long. And it took something in Glendale that didn't work out well because the LGBTQ brought Antifa into it. So it became kind of a little mini riot. And the point of people being there was to defend our kids. And then it became, some BS. And we forgot about what was really important, which is the kids, right? It became just
Right.
Antifa fighting against parents instead of parents trying to support their children.
Yeah.
Do you guys out there have the Neighbor Next Door
Yes.
program
Yeah.
on your phone?
Yep, I do.
Yep.
Now I've been using that, and I go on it every day. And people are bitching about this or that, and I have to set them straight on a bunch of things. And I think they're coming around to the right way of thinking when it comes to the politics. What this person wants to do? They want to build 1 million townhomes. Well, your roads are not big enough to handle that. So now they're all kind of trying to get engaged.
Well,
So it's kind of an interesting.
they need to get engaged because we're going down a path that we might not be able to come back from, right? With everything that's going on, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we got to look at what's happening in our country, what's happening overseas, right? People still forget that we have people deploying to countries and no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about the military exercise by NATO near China, right? We're not, and near Russia. We're not talking about that. We don't know all the what's happening, and God forbid we get into conflict. Who knows what the current leadership will do to stay in power? Who knows?
Right. We got 900 guys in Syria right now. 22 died in an accident.
Of course, it's an accident. It's always going to be an accident.
Yep.
Hey, hey, Tony, you're the host of this show. You're the captain of this ship. But I was wondering if I could not pull a mutiny, but if I could ask everybody to their mics just for a minute, so we can wish President Donald Trump a happy 77th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much. Everybody, happy birthday!
And there's a woman that will not sue him.
That's a birthday from the grave.
But since you brought up your favorite character, he's been all over the news the last couple of days. So let's talk about Mr. Trump. Come on, Will.
Let me put my big boy hat on. Okay.
You better put your big boy's pants on first.
Oh, they're on. Believe me.
You heard about
Go ahead. What are your thoughts
about the adjourn New York? They want to wait and see what happens with the federal case, so they're kind of pushing that back now, which was kind of a smart move on whoever's part that came. Time this federal thing goes through, if he wins, he's liable to be the president. You can't indict a sitting, or you can't take in a sitting president.
This is true.
Who knows?
Do you think that's why they did it? Because they want to do it piece by piece, right?
Yeah.
To keep him busy so he can't campaign, right?
Well, they did the adjournment that way he can, because now he won't have to be there in
Yes,
March. So that opens up his
exactly.
window. And I think they were counting what 6 possible court dates for or charges or whatever for
Right.
they want to throw the federal one at him. They want to do
Mike,
the
six
or
different,
the January.
six different cases. They're
6 different
trying to
cases.
divert him. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
So you're
that's why
absolutely
they're all
correct.
doing
It's nothing
and that's
nothing
why
more
they're
than a
doing the
diversion.
adjournment now. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
but the adjournment is
they'll
for
lose.
most people that's misleading, right? Because they see adjournment and a lot
That's
of them,
putting it
and
on
I've spoken
pause.
to a few of them who think, right, I know what it means, but a lot of people think it means they're not going to do anything to Trump, and they don't understand that they're waiting,
No.
right? Because I think they're waiting.
It's a delay. It's a delay
I
tactic,
think they're waiting.
Yeah.
which I think is brilliant.
Well, yes and no, right? Because they could drag this shit on. Let's say the DOJ says, okay, we're dropping everything. Then they're going to come back after him again with something else, right? Keep it in the media.
Well, that's fine, but that's fine. But it's still going to look. Even if they do a speedy trial on this thing,
Mhm.
Which they won't.
and I'm talking about the DOJ,
Right.
Right.
it's still going to take a good 18 months to go to
No,
trial.
I
Yeah, but
totally
that's-
get
By
that.
then, the election. By then, we're already voting.
But the speedy
Here-
trial
here's what
is for the
do you truly,
defendant.
do you truly believe, and I want you guys to think about it before you answer, that he is going to be the Republican candidate? Do you truly believe that?
Yes.
He will be the Republican nominee.
See,
Yeah.
I don't think
Absolutely
so.
not.
I don't
Absolutely
think
not.
so. I don't think so. And let me tell you why I don't think so. Because the
No, but here's the
Wait, let
thing.
me tell you-
Anybody.
let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because
Go ahead.
the Republican Party doesn't work well together, right? They just don't, right? We just got this.
What Republican Party?
Okay, the Uniparty.
The
So-
70 million.
There we
people-
go. There we go. You nailed it.
No, but think about this, guys. We have the mayor of Miami running for president now, right? He
Yeah.
announced today he's going to officially announce it tomorrow. Where? The Reagan Library in Simi Valley. That's where he's going to announce it.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? More power. The bigger the field,
Wait,
the bigger the.
wait.
Okay.
Just wait a minute. If the Republican Party is so unified on who they're going to support, why are we allowing all these people to run, right? That's my thing.
Because it's good for Trump.
What's that?
Trump likes a big field. The more
Well,
candidates that are in, the more he shines.
I don't
There
think
will
so.
be a debate, at least on the Republican side, where the Democrats don't want it because they'll have Dumb and Dumber up there.
Okay.
You're exactly correct,
I'm gonna
Mike.
disagree with
You're
you.
exactly
I'm
correct.
disagreeing with you there too. I don't think Biden is going to run for president. I think it's going to be Newsom. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to be Newsom. If you pay attention to what he's doing, Newsom is setting himself up to be president against. He's going to compete against Kamala, which is really no competition.
He said Newsom. If you are correct in what you're saying, Tony, Newsom is setting himself up for a downfall.
You don't.
I think so.
How
Because
much?
his record, just like you said at the beginning of your show, his record in San Francisco literally has led to the
Have you
collapse.
even heard him speak? That
I do.
Yeah.
greasiest snake oil.
I can't stand listening to him, to be honest with you.
He'll have
I
people
watch
following
Sandy.
him like little rats. He's a Pied Piper. He has California in his
Well,
pocket,
that's fine.
right?
Yeah, but
That's
if you
fine.
look at California, what do you see? Tent City,
You know
Shit
what?
City, Drug City.
Mike,
The
you
rest
can
of
say whatever
America
you
sees
want.
it.
I have no confidence in the voters in the state of California because he's been that way since day one, and we
That
keep
makes two
electing
of us.
him. Right? They
Right.
keep electing him no matter what. Kind of like
Right.
Monica Rodriguez. She's shit, but they keep electing her. Why? Right? There's a reason why people keep voting for these same candidates, right? He's a smooth talker. You heard him apologize for the restaurant nonsense. If you didn't know him, you'd be like, oh, he made a small mistake. It's okay. You know, we forgive you, Governor.
Yeah, but when you
He
see
is that slick.
the optics are what kills him. Is because you see every night on the news about the tents, the shit on the street, the drugs, and you're going, we want the rest of America to look like this? I don't think so.
I think you're giving credit.
I mean, imagine the contrast. Imagine, gentlemen, just real quick.
Okay.
Imagine. Let's take Trump. Let's take Trump out of the equation for a minute.
Okay.
Let's just assume that Trump is not the nominee and Ron DeSantis is. Now imagine Ron DeSantis's record against Gavin Newsom's. Slam dunk. Slam dunk.
I think Mike and Will, I think you guys are smoking some good crack. Because I think
I'm smoking a great cigar.
I think you guys
smoking a great cigar.
I think you guys are assuming that the rest of the nation the rest of the nation is paying attention. You're assuming the rest of the nation is paying attention to what California does. That's what you're assuming. Because you do, right, Mike? You do. You do. I do.
No, I'm talking about that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the contrast between Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom.
I think, to be honest with you, I would love to watch that debate. Those two.
So would I.
We were trying to set it.
I agree.
No, I just
and he agreed.
I just think, and the reason I say what I say is because I think the American voter, many of them are apathetic, right? Many of them are just sitting there, oh, well, I'd rather have this than that because I don't know what that's going to be like, instead of taking a shot at something and succeeding. Kind of like Michael Jordan. Everybody talks about how great he was, but nobody realizes how many times he failed, right? And he failed, but he kept coming back. Kobe Bryant, right?
And Jerry Brown did the same thing. Jerry Brown was Gavin Newsom's mentor.
Well, nothing to brag about, but okay.
And for some reason, the people of California from the 1970s all the way since I've been living here kept voting for Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
So
people get caught up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cult of personality, probably here in California. Caught up.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Hey, I like him.
I mean, I had a friend of mine today, and I'm not going to mention his name, that sent me a quote from Al Franken, and you know who you are.
I saw that quote.
and the only thing I could do is, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's one of my best friends. But I just responded with Tulsi Gabbard. Because Al Franken has no freaking goddamn credibility on this issue.
Yeah,
he's a crook too.
Look, anybody that
has been.
Let's talk about, and we use the word integrity loosely in our republic. But
we use the word integrity loosely in a lot of avenues. But go ahead.
That, like, I don't care what people normally do. With their personal life, where they have an affair, they do whatever they do. I don't care, right? It's not my business. But when you have an affair with your best friend's wife or girlfriend, then I have a problem with you. And that's Gavin Newsom right there, right? You don't, if you betray your friend, then you have no loyalty to anyone. If you call that person.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though.
Shut up for a minute.
Go ahead.
If you betray your best friend with his
Be
wife,
nice. Be nice.
I'm being nice. That hat is screwing with my head. That's all.
He's nicely telling you to shut up, Will.
But
you know what?
Hey, wait. Let me finish.
Okay. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that you measure a person's integrity by what he did, right? And I normally don't judge people, but if you stick it to your best friend, then you'll stick it to anybody, right? You'll stick it to anybody. And I don't care what kind of problems you have with your spouse that you had to go outside. But if you betray your best friend, then you're an asswipe. That's
you're well said.
Go ahead,
I agree.
That was my point. Go ahead.
I agree. Well, first of all, okay, now you threw me on a tangent. You son of a gun.
Again,
You had to get me on a tangent. You remember, we missed last week, but the week before we were talking about the no labels movement,
Yes,
right?
we were.
And Joe Lieberman and a guy. So they set up this no labels movement, and it's going to be their third party try if they actually can get. They're going to wait till after Super Tuesday.
Right.
But the unity ticket is not a bad thing. And listen, and I'm going with Trump all the way down to the wire.
We know.
But I also like the competition of the unity ticket. So here's the thing: our third president, Thomas Jefferson. Do you know what his political party was?
No, enlighten me.
Democratic Republican.
Right.
The only president in the history of our country to call himself a Democratic Republican.
and now we call them Democrats.
And yes, he had babies with his slave too. So, but the point is, we've done this before. And Abraham Lincoln, the very first Republican president elected to that office, chose a Union Democrat as his vice presidential running mate.
It can happen.
And here's what a revolution is. A revolution isn't a violent outburst. Sometimes it is, but it's also coming back to where you started from. Sometimes you have to get back to basics. You got to get back to basics.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say real quick, because I know we're at the bottom of the hour. But first of all, I want to thank you, Tony, for the work that you do on this show. And I want to thank our crew, Mike Riker and Al Collins. And I want to say for the record that I am absolutely honored to be a part of this this crew. And I also want to thank our listeners, Tony, Mike, Al, and me.
That's it.
That's the best listening crew we ever had. You know what the beauty of our relationship is that we can all agree to disagree and not choke each other out. And maybe some of the people out there will learn that. And instead of worrying about what party or what letter you have next to your name, we worry about each other for once, right? Because if they really think about it, not many politicians give a rat ass about any of us, right? It's all a money.
Well, see, and this, right, you're right. Tony, you're absolutely right. And this is the problem. This is why, and maybe you don't see it, but this is what I see. This is what is resonating with the American people. Look, this case in New York, this case with the DOJ, the potential case in Georgia, this is not, like Tulsi Gabbard said, this is not about Donald Trump.
No, I agree.
This is about, if they can do this to a former president, imagine 20 times over what they could do to you or me.
Well, just think about this. He's got the money to defend himself. Most of us don't. Right? If they go after us.
And he gets more money every time he gets indicted. I think he got $4 million.
And his poll numbers. Mike, you're right. And his poll numbers, his poll numbers keep going up.
Look,
That's because
61% now.
What's that, Al?
Americans love criminals. Let's face it.
Yeah.
John Gotti was so popular.
We got one in there now.
Everybody loved him.
We got one in there now.
Well, Al. Look at, and I'm not haranguing you, okay? But look at your first name.
So
Al
You
Franken.
are one. You are one. You are one. You are one last name removed from being a Capone.
but think about this. Al makes plenty of sense because people fall in love with stuff like that. And Mike, I know what you were trying to say, but again, I think Obama's still president. It's not Biden. So
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you 100%.
If you
I
talk to,
think
if you heard in the past, he says, I talked to Obama. So what does that tell you?
look,
Let me put that
look.
bug in your ear.
There was a speech Obama did when he left
Pull
office.
them
I don't know
little
if you guys.
strings and I'll wink at you. I'm your puppet.
If you guys remember, there was an interview. There was an interview. There was an interview with Mr. Obama when he left office, and he talked about wanting to be a third-term president. Right? Talked about, and if he can't be, he wanted to be able to control that person that was in the White House. And I think he's doing an excellent job doing that with Mr. Biden. I think it's excellent. I think he's still president. I think a lot of the
He wanted to be
policies
behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's Obama.
Well, and here's the thing too. So, and it's like you said. It's like you said before, Tony, that Biden doesn't call the shots because Biden is not a dumb man. But here's the thing.
Well, it's debatable.
How dumb? Well, yeah. Okay, yeah, but I mean, give the man a break. He's fucking 80. But here's the thing. How dumb do you have to be? And I'm not just talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about the Democratic National Committee. How dumb do you have to be to choose Kamala Harris over Tulsi Gabbard when you had the chance? And they wonder why Tulsi Gabbard's supporting Trump now. That's your fault.
Well,
you lost the golden girl. You lost the golden girl. Guess what?
Well,
DNC.
look, it depends on your definition of a golden girl, right? Because maybe you like Kamala because she took care of Willie Brown and Montel, right?
See, you always go there. I'm trying to keep this family oriented tonight.
If you notice, sensualist TV, not family oriented.
This is no kids are watching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I have grandkids that actually watch the archives.
Well, okay. Then my apologies to your grandkids.
So they know. So they know that their grandpa is their grandpa is uncut, uncensored, and unapologetic about what he believes.
Good.
And so is Tony Rodriguez, and so is Mike Reichert, and so is Scarlucci, or whatever the fuck his name is. The guy hiding behind the glasses and the big hat.
You know
It's
that
Scarpelli.
Corleone.
I don't give a rat's ass.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But let's go back to this case for a minute, because like, do you guys think there's hope in America, in the Republic, for people to finally wake up with everything that's going on? Because I kind of doubt.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of.
Oh, yeah, I agree with.
I mean, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, you look at property taxes, you look at everything, and you say, "Well, happy these 2.5 years," and they're waking up because it's affecting their pocketbook.
Well, yep. Yeah, and here's the other thing, Tony. I just want to interject this, and then I will yield the floor. But Alan Dershowitz, a brilliant freaking lawyer, and a Democrat, is defending Donald Trump on this. Look, the weaponization and the politics, the political motivation and the weaponization of the Justice Department needs to be put in check. Because here's the thing, if it doesn't, You literally have a federal government run amok. And I heard I heard Attorney General Merrick Garland this morning.
Yeah.
When I wake up, I like to wake up, I like to wake up to maybe a text from you or Mike or a phone call from one of you guys or Al or to talk to Al. I woke up to Merrick Garland this morning. And that stupid, whiny, rat-ass son of a bitch
Don't do it.
of an attorney general
Don't do it. Will.
is doing the bidding. I didn't do it. He did it, Al.
You're gonna get your door.
And when he literally
door kicked down one day.
Well, who's your favorite attorney general? Other than Merrick Garland, who was your favorite attorney general?
Merrick Garbage.
Who are you asking?
Okay, hold on. Let me reset. Other than Merrick Garland, who, Al, was your favorite attorney general in history?
Don Corleone.
Mine was Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah, but he got headaches.
You guys, so your belief that the American people see through all the minutia, right? That's your belief.
I think a lot of them are, yeah.
Not all of the American people. Not all of the American people.
Do you think?
And I'll tell you why, Tony, is because they are so diverted by the economic crisis. They're waiting for the Fed to raise interest rates, which they're not going to do, but they're also not going to lower interest rates at this moment. So they're going to keep everything steady. They're going to keep everything just sail on. And here's the thing. We have, and I listened to the congressional hearings this morning with our former mayor here in Long Beach. I listened to Garcia and how he was supporting the administration and so forth. But then I listened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. They were investigating on the Homeland Security Committee. They were investigating the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And she pulled a piece of paper out. I'm serious. Seriously, she literally pulled a rabbit out of her political ass and called the witnesses on the carpet and said, "Here, I have proof." She held it up. She said, "I have proof. There are 85,000 migrant children missing that the Department of Homeland Security cannot locate or identify."
Well, we know.
Now you tell me we don't have a problem.
Believe me, we have a lot of problems. It's pretty obvious that we're a nation torn between party lines, race, sexual orientation, school systems. They're tearing us apart, and we're allowing it, really, as far as I'm concerned, because nobody's really fighting back. And getting back to what's going on with Trump, what they're doing to Trump is wrong. I will agree with that 100%, right? That's a political attack. It's not an attack because a crime was committed. So I don't have a problem defending that.
Go ahead.
I'm defending that. My question to you is, we keep talking about the American people and them voting, but let's talk about the American people in states like South Dakota, Iowa, Montana. How engaged are they to swing their vote to somebody like Donald Trump? Because a lot of people are fed up with the way he was a leader, right? We all know that he was loud, he was obnoxious, he was a dickweed, he was mean. And a lot of people don't like that in that part of the country. They just don't, right? And
well, South Dakota, I can already tell you, South Dakota and the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, they're behind Donald
I'm not
Trump.
talking about Kristi Noem. I'm talking about the voters.
I'm talking about
The voters,
the
are
average
they going
voter,
to
because
decide? They're going to decide, I'm going to vote for Trump because of all this other nonsense going on, or are they not going to vote like most Americans do and say, screw it, whatever happens, happens? That's my question.
yeah, well, not in South Dakota, buddy. Boss, I'm telling you, not in South Dakota. South Dakota is going to be behind Trump,
You and I can go back and
and
forth all
Florida,
day. You and I,
in Florida, you got a governor from Florida running against Donald Trump, and still Donald Trump is garnering more endorsements out of Florida than the sitting governor.
Right.
well, it does. You got to remember, Trump's had a stronghold in Florida for a lot longer than DeSantis. Number one, right?
Exactly.
He's
And
had a strong.
don't forget, real quick, and don't forget, the Governor DeSantis would not be governor of Florida if it wasn't for Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just gonna,
Well, I know that for a
how
fact.
do you know?
When Ron DeSantis does a commercial, reading the art of the deal to his baby girl, and literally makes a commercial out of it, and looks over it is. I mean, she's just a baby. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. And he's reading from the art of the deal, like he's reading the Bible or something, right? And looks over and says, "Oh, and here, honey, here's my favorite line: You're fired." He would not be Governor DeSantis without Donald Trump.
That's what he's going to say to Trump in the end.
I'll tell you what, Al. I'll tell you what, buddy. I love you, Al. I love you with all my heart.
Can I?
But you try to get Al Franken to run for president.
Hey, can I?
He's
just
not
say
running.
this? Will, I got a question for you.
Yes,
Is
sir.
Donald Trump offering you a job if he wins?
I wouldn't ask that. I would be indicted to ask that at this point.
Because it sounds like you're doing a slobbery job on Donald Trump.
I'm supporting Trump.
Hey, so,
You know what? Hey, Tony, just to respond to you and Al.
you got no
Mike and I are not going to sway on this issue.
I'm talking about you.
Okay, I'm supporting Donald Trump down to the wire. I hope I get indicted. I hope somebody sues me.
Listen, let's switch gears a little bit. Have you? What are your?
Oh, ask Al about that. Al knows how to switch gears.
Oh my God. What do you guys think about Kennedy's run on the Democratic side, though?
I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
I see his numbers are creeping
He's
up.
a centrist.
His numbers are creeping up.
His numbers are creeping up. And also, here's the thing about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that Republicans should be paying attention to. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is literally taking on the ultra-liberal progressive Democrats.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I think it's amazing. Look, I'm voting for Trump. I'm supporting Trump, but I love Robert F. Kennedy in this race.
No, and you know, somebody like him running gives you hope. To me, it gives me hope, right? That he's a Democrat and he's one of those central Democrats that, you know, leans more to the right, just to the left.
He's more like an independent.
You're right. Yeah. But he went to the border. Right?
Al's right. Al Collins just said it. He's more of an independent.
Yeah, and
Donald Trump. Look, Donald Trump. It's not.
We're done with Trump right now. We're talking Kennedy. What impressed me the most was that he actually went to the border. How many Democrats have gone to the border to check it out? Now you can talk about Donald.
Exactly. You're right. You're absolutely right.
For me, and he actually made a comment that the border's a mess, right? That we need to fix it, right? So
Imagine that coming out of a Democrat.
I can't. I mean, I know it came out of him, but
yeah,
it came out of him. But I can't see anybody else. Mike, you had something to say?
No, I'm just one, but I like. I mean, Vivek will be you.
Yes,
He's very millennial, who I think is getting his name noticed, and we may see him in the future.
He's very even keeled.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, he's very even keeled. He doesn't come across as an arrogant, horrible person. How's that?
Right. Well said. And he also challenged today. Vivek Ramaswamy also challenged every other Republican candidate running against Trump to sign the pledge that if Trump is not elected, we need to pardon him anyway. I believe
he sent that to the Democrats also.
I think he did. I think you're absolutely right.
He did.
Yeah.
And truth be told, if they do convict Trump, they should pardon him.
He'll be pardoned because he's a former president. It's just what we do in America.
Because
we'd send a really bad message if we locked up a former president of the United States. Don't you guys think?
Well, yeah, it's
the rest of the world would send a really bad message to the world.
We're sending a bad message now because of what we're doing. So we definitely don't want to be worse.
Give him house arrest. Give him one of his stripper models. He'll be fine.
Now, here's something.
We had a weekend of stormies.
And maybe you guys heard this or not today, but I believe his son-in-law is back on his campaign.
Kushner?
Yep.
Okay.
I believe he's back on the Trump bandwagon. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's a good guy. First of all, that's a good guy. That's a good guy to have as a son-in-law. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, please do.
Ivanka Trump, while they were dating, Ivanka Trump, and I can't tell you how I know this. You're just going to have to take my word for it or research it.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
But here's the thing. So Ivanka Trump, while Jared was dating Ivanka, Ivanka said, okay, now Jared, here's the thing. My dad is not an easy person to get along with. But if you don't reach out to him, he's going to take that as a slap in the face, and he's not going to trust you. So Ivanka gave Jared her dad's number, and Donald Trump answered. Donald Trump is a very personable guy, but he answered. He said, Jared said, look, I'm really interested in your daughter. I think we can build a life together, but she said I should probably meet with you. And Donald Trump, which he does not do with everybody, said, let's go to lunch. Donald Trump doesn't go to lunch. Donald Trump eats lunch in his office by himself. He doesn't, but he took Jared. Guess where he took Jared to lunch?
McDonald's.
The Trump Grill. The Trump Grill. And he bought Jared a steak and said, yep, you know what, marry my daughter. But I need you to work for me.
Well,
and he's been loyal, he's been loyal to his father-in-law ever since.
Okay. I expect total loyalty out of you. If you want to marry my daughter, I expect total loyalty out of you.
See, now here's the thing, Al. You're playing an Italian mobster on this show.
Yeah.
And you expect total loyalty out of me too, right?
Oh, look at you. Yeah,
I already have total loyalty out of you.
There you go. See?
I already
Hey,
have it.
real quick, because we're almost at the top of the hour. Real quick, do your Godfather thing, Al. My grandson loves it.
What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? I can't remember the last time you invited me to your house for a cup of coffee, and now you want me to commit murder.
Anybody got a horse head?
Thank you, Al.
Hey, so back to his son-in-law, since you love him so much. Don't you think it's going to hurt Trump? They're going to use that against him, because let's not forget he got $2 billion from the Saudis, right? Let's not forget he got his father. How do I say this? Pardon.
Not gonna hurt him at all.
You
No,
don't think
not
so?
gonna hurt. No, I don't think so at all.
Uh-oh.
What do you think, Mikey? He doesn't think anything.
Some
He's like,
streaming issues here.
Trump is the Teflon Don. No one's taking him down. Come on, let's be real, guys.
I don't think
Let's
they're
be
going to.
real.
No, I'm not being not real. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to win. I didn't say they're going to take him down.
No, but he's not going anywhere. He's the Teflon Don.
No,
He's not going.
Not going anywhere.
He's not. I doubt he'll be president again. But you never know.
No, I
You know the difference? Hey, guys, you know the difference? You know the difference between okay. Now let's do a matchup here.
Okay.
First of all, everybody on your show knows that I am fiercely loyal. I mean, you could do the worst thing in the world, Tony.
We know.
Al too. And I would have your back.
We know that.
But the difference between me and Mike and you and Al are that you both belong to the same chamber of commerce. and Mike and I are
chamber of commerce.
Mike and I are partial to the Masons.
Hey, that is the best chamber. And I got to tell you guys.
I know it is. I know it is.
I met the mayor of National City. Was it a week ago? I can't even remember. And he came to our event wearing a purple shirt. Right.
Nice.
Okay, this is awesome.
So, I invited him to our function. He came. And it was a function to thank our workers in San Diego. And he showed up to help us thank our employees. But what was impressive was he was wearing a purple shirt and a purple tie. And
okay, this is awesome.
That intrigued me. And so we started talking. And he's an independent. He believes in us trying to work things out together, and he's doing a very good job in National City getting the people together to make the city a better place to live, right, and be safe. If we could clone people like him and Tulsi and move them around in our nation to teach people the right way to do things, we probably wouldn't have all the issues we have today across our nation. I definitely know we wouldn't have that problem in LA County, because we have a lot of problems in LA County when it comes to people trying to do things together. It's always some dividing force that keeps everybody apart. Kind of like what happened in Glendale. Instead of being a peaceful demonstration, it becomes violent because they start bringing in outside groups to stir the pot, per se, right? And the message is lost, right? That day was great. I know our buddy Brandon was super happy, but I wasn't, because the message was lost. The parents were there to fight for their kids, and it ended up being a fight between Antifa and parents. Message is lost.
Speaking of which, why isn't Brandon on anymore?
He is busy stirring the pot. That's all I could say.
More power to him.
Right. And it's great that he does that, but the message is lost as far as I'm concerned, because the media is not going to talk about what's going on with our kids. They're going to talk about Antifa and parents fighting, right? That's it.
Yeah.
They're not going to talk about anything else. And that's the part that bothers me, that these other groups and organizations bring people in, right, to for whatever reason, and then it becomes a fight. Then it becomes a little mini riot. Then it becomes a physical thing instead of what we're there for, which is the kids, right? And that's the part that's disheartening for me, that everything that people try to do, they twist it and turn it and don't make it about what they're really there for, right? We're not taking care of our kids, right? And I think you saw my post, Will, for sure, when I posted the American flag, right? We only need one flag. We don't need a brown pride flag. We don't need a flag. We don't need an LGBTQT flag. We got one flag. That flag is for liberty and freedom for all of us. It doesn't say for just white people, black people, or Puerto Ricans. It says for everybody. And I think we've lost the little messages, right? That we should be one. We should be fighting for each other. We should take care of each other instead of, I don't like you because you're dating a white girl, or I don't like you because you don't believe in LGBTQ2. Well, to be honest, I don't care if you're LGBTQ or heterosexual. It's not my business. If you want to do what you do it on your own time. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you do.
And justice.
I was asked that. Just
go ahead, Will.
Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
Hey, Will.
I was asked a question today because look, everybody on this panel will agree with this. No secrets here, right?
No, there isn't.
And they also know who Allie is. Guess what? We both agree we do not need a month to celebrate who we are. Every day that we are able to coexist and to do the things that we do here in this country, we don't need a Pride Month. We're proud of our country because our Constitution gives us the right to be who we are. Now, do not encroach upon somebody else's rights. Right. That's all we're asking. And even the other side, the flip side of that, be who you are. You know?
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with
and I'm going to tell you something. And I have to say this to my friend, Al. The only reason he is so frustrated about Donald Trump, it's not about Donald Trump. It's the fact that as a child actor, Al Collins was jealous of Macaulay Culkin because he never got to sit on Michael Jackson's lap in Neverland.
Oh, God. You are one sick puppy. You know that? You are one sick puppy.
You know,
yeah, but he did sit on Patty Dukes.
Al's gonna be mad at me.
Thank you, Mike.
What did Mike say? I missed
by Anne Margaret. So there.
Yeah, you win, Al. You win. But if we go back to that, because I think people want to get back to some kind of normalcy, right? And I hate to use that word because
it has to be a common thing, though.
Right? We want to go back to the way things were, right? Where everybody just dealt with their personal life, and I didn't care if my neighbor was sleeping with somebody. That's not my concern, right? As long as it doesn't affect me personally, I don't care who you want to date, who you want to sleep with, who you want to be with. I feel bad for Allie because I know she's dealing with you on a daily basis, and that's difficult for her. But
that crack pipe.
But I admire the fact that she tolerates your ass. I seriously do. Right? Kind of like I say the same thing about my wife, right? She tolerates the shit out of this grumpy old guy, right? We should be grateful for being.
And eventually we're going to have to vote for you again.
Yeah, I know. But listen, we should be grateful for the relationships we have no matter what, right? Exactly. No matter what. And that's the true meaning of friendship is the four of us. We don't always agree on everything, but we always have each other's back.
And that's what I love about us, because if we agreed, if you and Al and Mike and I agreed on everything all the time, it would be a cult. It would be a cult. It would not be a friendship. It would not be us thinking for ourselves and exchanging the dialogue. See, this is why I love Al. First of all, the only thing I've seen from Al tonight is his hat and his sunglasses.
And his seatbelt.
I like the look.
I don't even see that. Yeah, I have a different picture of that. But let me tell you something about Al. Al keeps me laughing. When I am at my worst and I'm in crisis or something, Al makes me laugh every day. But you know what he does? Here's the genius about Al Collins. He makes me laugh at myself. And then I can get along with I can even get along with you, Tony.
God, that's thank you, Al. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you something.
No,
I'm going to tell you
that's
something.
go ahead.
Al Collins has your back too. You've got a lot of supporters, Tony, that you don't know.
No, I,
Yep.
I,
And
look,
if you,
look,
and I can't say,
and I'll say this publicly. You guys to me are like my brothers I served with in the army, right? I think I could tell you anything, and you guys can tell me anything, and we'll be friends forever, no matter what, right? And I appreciate that more than you guys will ever know, because I don't get very close to civilians. I just don't. It's not my nature.
I understand. I
And
can
you three,
understand why.
and you three are, keep me going and keep me motivated. And sometimes, I argue and I disagree with you guys, but at the end of the day, we're brothers to the end, and that's all that matters to me. Lose
Well,
or draw, we
you know
stick
what?
together.
You know the one thing I'll never forget about you
What's that?
is you're the one person. And Mike Riker used to try to do this, but he was a little more diplomatic than you. But you told me, when I was having a bad day, you would say, "Okay,
Go to bed.
stop being a whiny bitch." And so I don't whine anymore. I actually really, I worry about things like all of us do. We all have our responsibilities and our worries and so forth, but I don't panic over it anymore.
And you shouldn't.
My friends on this panel, Mike Riker and Al Collins and boss Tony Rodriguez and Allison Bork, of course. You've made me a gentler soul. And so I'm grateful for all of you.
I tell my staff every day, you have about 5 seconds to whine and snivel, and that's it, right? Because if you dwell on the negative all the time, you never get out of that rut. You'll stay in that rut, and it'll eat you. It'll eat your insides, and it'll make you just a bitter person.
Well, I can understand. I can understand why you reached the rank of master sergeant.
Shut up.
And I salute you and Mike.
Look, at the end of the day, guys, whatever path we take as a team, we do it together.
Yeah.
Amen.
We do it together. And I hope people listening out there just listen to the way we are and how we argue and how we laugh and what we talk about to realize that we don't all have to agree.
I just got a text from Mike that made me laugh. Sorry.
We're past the hour, so I want to tell the three of you that there will be a decision coming soon, and I will talk to you three individually before I do any announcements or do anything. I want to thank you for always being there for me. You guys, more than you'll ever know, I appreciate what you guys do on a daily basis.
Well, always remember too, you're the only person that I've ever heard Senator Mike Gabbard write a song for.
Yeah, I'm super proud of that. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you can't. And he also called you when you were in the hospital.
Yes, he did.
Now tell me that's not your favorite Democrat.
He is my favorite Democrat. I'm not going to lie. He really is. I enjoy him. I follow him on social media. He's a man with a heart and a man that loves his family. And anybody that loves their family the way he does is a hero in my eyes, right? Because that's what's really important. Right. So I want to thank you guys for tonight. I want to thank our audience, the 4 people out there watching us. Thank you for watching the Tony Rodriguez Show on the Next Gen USA. You can follow me on social media. It's all the same: Facebook, Instagram, Tony Rodriguez for the Republic. You can also reach me on my website, tonyforamerica.us. Thank you and good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night, Jim.